Last time around, we started a save with Berwick Rangers. Berwick Rangers, the English team that play their football in the Scottish leagues, but we've moved them back to the English leagues, but we can only sign Scottish players, obviously. And that last video, the first 5 seasons of this save, was an absolute slog. It was such a struggle, and frankly, I loved it. We eventually made our way from the National League North to the National League, and then after many seasons of toiling, made our way to League 2, courtesy of this goal from Paul Allen. I mean, what a goal, Paul Allen. In today's video, we pick things up from the start of Season 6 as we sit in League 2, with the aim still very much being to try and take our Scottish lads to the very top. It's still not going to be easy, so come on. Hello and welcome back to the Berwick adventure, where this man right here took us to a moment of ecstasy at the end of the last video. If you've not watched that one, make sure you go and watch part 1 to this, because otherwise we're going to start 5 seasons in. This is the start of Season 6. We're into 2028, and Paul Allen, with all of his 7 long shots, delivered that wonderful volley, which kind of secured our place in this league here. League 2 for our 6th season. We've actually started League 2, and I've done some transfers, which is always and every time the case, isn't it? We've actually won 2 of our first 3 games and lost a game against Woking. It's actually a very nice start, especially considering we are predicted to finish 15th. So it's actually not as bad as it has been previously. We've had lower season previews and then managed to do better in previous seasons, especially last season. I think last season that was also the case. So I'm relatively hopeful for our League 2 campaign this year. But first and foremost, let me show you what I've been up to in the summer. I think I've got this squad now to a place where I feel like I'm on top of things, and I'm not going to be struggling around having no players and no wage budget to actually bring them in. As you can see, we've got a very healthy wage budget still available to us, and also a little bit of transfer budget available to us. That is because we've made a sale. We've sold Mitchell Frame for £245,000. He was our left back last year, and a very capable left back. Played 40 games, he got 17 assists, to be fair. So he is going to be missed, but that's why he cost £245,000 to go back to the Scottish Premiership. So I kind of understand it, and I think we're going to have to do this if these situations become available. We've also allowed Josh King to move on, who was one of our new gens. He's gone on a free to Derby. These, though, are the players we brought in. I will just check. Was there anybody else that we brought in before the takeover? I don't think so. No. Everyone that's come in has come in since we've gone to Season 6 transfers, and they are the following. Callum Flatman is a centre-back. Very solid indeed centre-back. He's come in on a free. Notice some of the wages, by the way. 1,100. Now, that's actually quite a lot, but also compare that to the wages we were having to pay when we were in the National League. And then even think back to Season 1, where we were paying Liam Bridcut over nearly £6,000 a week in the National League North. So it has definitely sort of worked itself out, which is what I was hoping it would do. We've had the creator of the database in the comments to the first video explaining some of the weird things that can happen in a database like this, and it all sort of makes sense. And I feel like we've got to a point where things have actually become a little bit more normal now, which is a good thing. Also, another thing I need to show you, I have corrected the club badge in the game, because weirdly, not really sure why, well, I do know why actually. It was a Bermudan team called something Hoggers, which was crazy, but now it is Berwick Rangers' actual badge. I've also given us some new kits. I was going to go and put the actual Berwick kits in, which were yellow and black, and then realised because of the Bermuda Hoggers team that was in here, we had green and white kits. So I've just made some that are sort of nice ones that fit the colour scheme that you'll see in game. So I've made things look a little bit more aesthetic, and I think the finances and everything like that might just level out a little bit. I think it will still be a challenge though, because we're not going to get loads of money. We have got £94,000 of debt already. And the projection is not looking great. So even though things are more normal, it's still going to be very small budgets for us. And I've spent zero, haven't I? We've brought in Callum Flatman first. Murray Campbell, a very good partner, potentially, to Flatman. He's another centre-back. Richard Ray on loan from Sunderland. Young striker. He's got really nice dribbling and first touch. I think he'd actually be really good on maybe the left wing, because he's right-footed, but I don't really want to retrain him to a new position. But he's maybe going to be a squad player. Matty Carson, also on a loan. He's going to be the replacement for Mitchell Frame at left back, probably. Alexander Devlin, who is another striker, another new gen. Lots of okay new gens coming through, it seems. Ones that are happy to come on loan to us. I think I might want to try and start signing them permanently, so maybe sell them on for profit in the future if I can. But this guy's on £700 a week and happy to come in and be another striker option, maybe play on the wing as well. He's got 16 finishing. That's really good. That should mean he scores goals here. So he's got 3 and 30 for Hamilton so far. And then finally, very good player, a little bit older, 28. Glenn Middleton has come in. 1,300 look. I know I've promised him to be a star player, but a very solid winger. Can play on the right-hand side with cutting in or on the left-hand side with his left foot. It means that we've got a full squad of players. None of these players are like standout amazing, I will say. And I do have a bit of wage budget and transfer budget to play with, so I will keep looking. However, it means that the squad looks a bit like this going into our 6th season. We've got Ryan Mullen continues in goal. We still don't have a backup goalkeeper, so I need to find one. Ryan Robertson, our homegrown wonder, has now played 108 games for us. Love that. I don't think he's ever going to be amazing, but the fact that he's solid and can play is great, isn't it? Zach Jules at centre-back is really good, although he has told me that he's going to leave at the end of his contract. This keeps happening, by the way. Same with Charlie Riley. Also telling me, because they want quite a lot of money to renew their contracts, but then the closer you get to the end of their contracts, the less money they demand. I have to leave it until quite close to their contracts expiring before I can even afford to offer them a contract. And then by that time, quite a lot of them are telling me that they are going to leave. So you'll see this crop up, I'm sure, as we continue this save, because it's already happening quite a lot at this stage. So yeah, that's happening with Zach Jules and also with Charlie Riley. We're going to have Matty Carson in on loan at left back, Paul Allen and Christy Montgomery. Christy Montgomery, by the way, 129 games for us now. He has been here for a very long time. I don't know, have we got a player that played in the National League North and then is going to play in every league? I don't think we've got that this time. Christy Montgomery might be one that's around the longest. Same with Ryan Robertson, I suppose, as one of our stalwarts from a very long time ago because he was a new gen and came through our youth intake, of course. And then we're going to go with Richard Ray and Joe Bevan up front. Joe Bevan, another one who's played loads of games, 135 games for us. He's kind of one that I'd like to keep with us as we hopefully rise up the leagues as well. He's 24 now, but great goal scoring record. He's already got 2 in his first 3 this season as well. He's been a superstar for us. I think he's one that's actually made his way. Yeah, he's an icon at the club already, look, which is really cool. We're only a favoured personnel, but he's an icon, that's just fantastic, isn't it? And then, of course, up front, we also do have Ethan Henderson, who can come in, our other new gen player. He's actually wanted at the moment by Preston. Not going to sell him, though, because he's going to be another one that let's try and keep hold of him. He scored 13 goals last year. So a little bit of extra work to do, but overall, to be predicted to finish not bottom in a new league and to have started the season with a couple of good wins and then just 1 loss against Woking away from home, feeling quite good. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but let's go and find out. Let's go and play up until January and see how this goes. And before we do go and do that, I just need to jump in and say thank you so much for being here. I hope you really enjoyed the first video. I hope you're going to enjoy today's video. I'm going to continue doing this long form content like this because I think it brings out the best in the way that I want to talk about Football Manager. So I just hope that you guys enjoy it. I feel like you do, which is why I'm going to continue with it, basically. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I know that loads of you will be watching without having subscribed because that's the way YouTube works these days. But for my own vanity purposes and for my targets to try and hit 100k, please do consider subscribing. That was my very genuine plea to you today. Let's continue. Let's go and play these games. All right, then, heading into January, it's the 31st of December, and I thought I might be getting ahead of myself a little bit after that start. Maybe I was wrong. We are second in the league, and we have the chance to go top. We've been excellent. We were starting from a position of slight strength, I actually think. Our squad it's a little bit more rounded. I don't think we've got superstars out there. I think Joe Bevan's really good. I think Murray Campbell's pretty good. I think the new left back, Matty Carson's really good. But I don't think there are like out and out superstars, but we are definitely better as a rounded squad. And I think it's paying dividends. These are the stats of the players so far. Let me make this bigger so you can see everything. It's been, again, it sort of mirrors that with what I say because the goals have been shared out. Ray's got 6, Riley's got 8, 6 for Bevan, 7 for Ethan Henderson, who's played a lot of games, actually. I'm a little bit forcing him into the team because I like him so much. But he's now on 61 games for us with 20 goals. It's good for a new gen. Only 18 as well, with potential, apparently, to grow. Don't love the fact that he's not consistent, but he does have lots of other really good pros in there as well. So we're going to keep trying to nurture him a little bit, but it's working. We're doing really well. Look at the results. After a good start punctuated by losses, mainly in other competitions, we lost in the Carabao Cup, look, to Leicester. We lost in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy Northern Section Group D game. which is a really big trophy that I'm definitely taking very seriously. We then won in the league, lost in the league, won in the league, drew in the league, lost in the league. So kind of up and down in September. We then played Liverpool under-21s and beat them. This Liverpool under-21s team had a few, like Jamie Doak's Scottish. I looked at it before. He's one that maybe we could keep an eye on. Like they had a few decent Scottish players. I can't see how good he is, obviously. But he missed his penalty as well. And then we had a great run through October, winning every game at bar 1 in the league where we drew to Crawley, and then QPR where we drew to them in the FA Cup first round. We did eventually go out to them in the replay though in November, which is a shame. I would love a really good FA Cup run to try and help this situation mainly. The overall balance. The overall balance seems to be going. Well, it seems to be going like this. We leak money throughout the course of the season, and then at the end of the season, we get a lovely payment, and then we sort of do the same thing for another season. Then we get a lovely payment, then the same, then a lovely payment, etc. This season, it's been a bit more up and down. I'm not really sure why. Is that because was that in August where I sold the left back frame? It could have been, couldn't it? But yeah, it's definitely a downward trend, and then we do get paid through. It's probably from prize money and things like that, isn't it? We also have a 50% sell-on clause for Mitchell frame. But it's only 98,000. But if he does get sold for any type of money, we will get a little bit of extra money from him. I'm trying to put things like that into deals too, to be financially savvy, because I think we're going to need to be, because like I just showed you, we don't have money. So we need to be a bit savvy. Then the rest of the season, we've had a really good December look where we went unbeaten, and they were all league games, playing some good teams and beating some good teams in there as well. At the top of the league is Scunthorpe. And in our game with them, we beat them 5-0. So that tells me that we're right in the hunt here for an immediate promotion, which is so different to the last video. But unless something goes very, very wrong here, we should be on our way to League One, which would be a lovely start and get us straight on track to take these boys to the very top. So I think I will have a look at transfer stuff, because I didn't spend any extra money. I didn't do anything else after that window. I'll have a look at transfer stuff in January to maybe try and strengthen us. But I'll let you know how that window goes, and I'll also let you know how the rest of this season goes, because I'm going to go and play it now. Come on, straight to League One. Let's see if we can do it. We could not do it. We finished 4th. I got way too carried away. I think I just saw the way that the first half of the season had gone, and I thought we were going to just romp home to victory, to be honest. We didn't. We finished 4th. 83 points is a really, really good season, though, and out of the context of the fact that we should have probably won the league from the position we were in, if you'd offered me this at the start of the season, I would probably have taken it. A chance in the playoffs to go and get ourselves into League One at the first attempt of asking would have been brilliant. It didn't quite go that way, though. We were not as good as Cambridge, Scunthorpe, and then MK Dons, and you could even say Burton Albion, who did get themselves the promotion through the playoffs. We did get into the playoffs. The playoffs did not go great for us. We lost to Cheltenham in the semi-finals. So we didn't even make a playoff final to have that situation. If we did make the playoff final, I probably would have done it as a live com. But we lost to Cheltenham. We lost 3-1 in the second leg at home, and they had 3 shots on target. Jaden Heskey, who is Emil Heskey's son, scored in it as well, which I don't know why, but that makes me feel even worse about it. You see that we played our 4-2-4 here. We just didn't perform. We scored from Joe Bevan. I'll show you the goal, but we might as well just weep in the sorrow of another failed season. But it was a lovely finish from Joe Bevan there. He is a real icon at the club. But yeah, it wasn't to be. It is, though, a solid place to build from. And like I think I really mentioned it a lot in the last video, I am thoroughly enjoying the grind and how difficult this is. It's not going to be a video where we just fly up through the leagues, because I think there's an added level of difficulty here. And I think people will appreciate that. You guys seem to appreciate that in the comments down below. But it might be that this might not even be the end of the... If we go... I think I might try and do 5 seasons, because if we're not at the top by that point, we'll make a part 3. And 15 seasons should be enough. But even if it's not, should we just continue until we get these boys to the top? Should we just revel in the story? I've got time. If you've got time, I think we should do that, because this is a lot of fun. And I really love these boys. However, we have sort of failed here. I'll show you the stats of the players who did play most of our games. You can see that we had a relatively settled first 11. Couple of changes in there. Dylan Smith played a lot of games, but you can see by the appearances who came in and who was very much a backup in the squad. That also will help me make decisions on what happens in the summer. We are going to lose Charlie Riley. I think it's this summer that his contract runs out. Yeah, we are going to lose Charlie Riley in the summer because he is considering his options. Played 42 games and scored 12 goals for us, so he's going to be a miss for us. But these things happen, don't they? Joe Bevan got 14 goals, 11 assists. Ethan Henderson still developing, 13 goals with 7 assists from him. pretty good from our new gens. Also 56 games from Ryan Robertson. I think he's actually getting better as well. I think I am seeing some little improvements. He's been capped at under 18 level as well. Be lovely to try and get Ryan Robertson a full Scottish cap, and similar for Ethan Henderson, both capped at under 19 level. I don't think they're in the under 19s right now, are they? That's not the squad. Under 19 squad. Are they in there? He's in there. Robertson's not. Robertson might be a year older though. Is he in the under 20s? If I do it by positions, it might help a little bit. I don't think he is. He's fallen out of the Scottish setup unless he's in the 21s, which I really do doubt because I don't think he's quite good enough for that. I am looking at these players, by the way, keeping them very much scouted as much as possible. Players like Lennon Miller is one that I've looked at quite a lot to try and bring in. Here's another one on here. This Jamie Doak I showed you, he's the one who plays for Liverpool. This Ryan One will be really good to try and bring in at some point. I've got my eye on the players I want to bring in. I just can't bring them in. We do, though, have a little bit of money to go and spend for the summer. £5,000 per week, 42,000 in transfer budget. Not loads, but we will probably have a little bit more once a few of these players whose contracts are going to expire do actually expire. So we've got all of these guys who are actually out of contract, but I'm just keeping around here because it's useful to have them. And we've also got highlighted here Charlie Gilmore, Zach Jules, Declan McManus, Ryan Mullen, our goalkeeper, and Charlie Riley all going out of contract. So there's quite a bit of wages on those four specifically. Mullen, I think I'm going to let go because I think we can get a better keeper. I will, of course, have a look first, but he's on 2,400 a week as well. He is our highest earner, I think. Look how much more under control we have the wage budget, by the way, compared to what it used to be. There's a few over 1,000, but they are our starters mainly. 2,400 being the most. We had players on 2,400 who were not even in the 11, like not even good enough to be in the 11, but having to play because we had no other players, basically. We are, I think, the lowest paying club in the league as well. If I show you team detailed here, our salary is second lowest in the entire league. Gateshead have a lower salary, but ours is pretty much right there. Compare that to the team at the top. MK Dons are paying 4.24 million per year. We're spending less than 1 million per year. So I think that also does tell the story of how we've had a really good season, but there is still improvements that we can make. And that's sort of the point of the video, isn't it? I'm going to go and play. I'm going to go and do some more transfers and see what improvements I can actually go and make. Okay, so actually, before I do that transfer business, I need to tell you about an update in the save. We have had a takeover. We have returned to the fans. So the Berwick Rangers Supporters Trust, led by local investor Mike Hartley. Go on, Mike. He's the one who did the jam, right? Has finally completed its takeover from former chairperson Kevin Dixon. We are now owned by the fans, and it did actually mean that we had a period of being under a transfer embargo. So I've not done any transfer business, and we're on to the 4th of July. I had loads of deals all teed up, ready to go, and they all just got cancelled because of the takeover, although it only lasted for a few days. So I do have time to go and do some transfers. Will that mean a change to our financial situation? We've got £257,000 in the bank. It's not loads, but it is a lovely upward tick. It's the most money we've had since back in 2025 when we had, how much do we have here? Does it tell you? It doesn't actually tell you exactly how. Oh no, it's 382. It does say, I've just pointed to my own screen. That is the most old man boomer thing I think I've ever done. I tried to show you where that was by pointing at my monitor instead of using my cursor. I actually can't though, because when I move I'm having a very senior moment. Anyway, you know what I mean. We had £382,000 back in 2025, and this is the most we've had since then. The first time we've been back in the black since December or maybe January 2026. So it might be a good sign. It might be. Let's go and do some transfer business and see if we can replace these players which have already left. Declan McManus has retired. Zach Jules has gone on a free. He was really useful for us. He played 83 times for us. He's gone because he didn't want to sign a new contract. And Charlie Riley, I showed you him before, played loads of games for us last year. 78 games, 25 goals from midfield mainly as well. He didn't want to sign a new contract, so he's gone as well. Those have been released. I don't think there was any before the tick over that I need to show you as well. Evan Ritchie, but he went in January and he was rubbish anyway. So, okay, transfers complete. 8th of August. So in about a month, I've brought in 4 players. 4 players that I'm very happy with, actually. We have gone for Murray Johnson, a replacement, a new goalkeeper. Murray Johnson will be our new number 1, and I think he's fantastic. He's on 2,300 a week, signed on a free transfer. He replaces Ryan Mullen, who, by the way, signed a new deal on £600 a week. So 675 to be precise. He was going to be leaving at the end of last season. We managed to leave it really late, which is kind of what I talked about. Leave it really late, and then eventually he was happy to sign a new contract for much less money as well. So even though we brought in these players, we still have wage budget available. We still have transfer budget available. And I think I've brought in some really good players here. That keeper, Murray Johnson, is a definite upgrade. I'll actually compare the two of them for you. He's a real upgrade on Ryan Mullen anyway, and he's 4 years younger, and he was free. So that's really good, isn't it? I've also brought in Connor McLaughlin. Yes, he's English. He wasn't English when I brought him in. So we're gonna have to cop for this one. He is half Scottish. Like, he is eligible for Scotland. But when I signed him, he wasn't, I swear. And now he also, the way that this is hard coded, I can only actually see players that are Scottish on here. It only shows me Scottish players. So on here, I think he was Scottish, and now he's English. I might have to try and get rid of him. He's on loan, and at the moment I can't do anything about it because I can't actually cancel it, and I kind of have to play him. So I may have gone against my own rules a little bit there, but he is half Scottish, so I think it does actually count. But you know, you guys decide in the comments down below. You can fight over that if you like. I'm going to say he's Scottish. He's born in Sunderland, and Sunderland's basically in Scotland, right? You can have Sunderland, Scotland. How's that? Does that solve things? Anyway, let's go back to the transfers. I've also brought in this one here, which I think I'm most happy with. Fraser Mackey. He's 22 on a very normal wage. He's so good. He should actually score. He scored goals for Dundee United in the Scottish Championship, and now he's playing in League Two for us. I genuinely think we've got a top goal scorer on our books here. I am very excited. Capped at under 20 level. He's only 22 now. Will get better if we can try and keep him here for the long term. I've got him with the number 7. I've got him on a contract for 3 years as well. The only thing I can see with him is that we might sell him because another team comes and gets him. And I've had to do a really, really horrible contract, to be honest. We're not going to make any money on him because I've had to put a 50% sell-on fee in there. I've had to tell him that if we get relegated, he will go for free. And he's got a release clause for clubs in the higher divisions for 100k. Now, I think it's a risk I'm willing to take. I'm going to treat it like a loan, basically. A loan that you get a little bit of money back at the end. There was no way we could sign him unless I put those things into his contract. So I'm going to see it like that. And then I'm not going to be upset when he does go. Maybe I will be if he scores loads of goals, but I think he's really good. And then finally, I brought in Ryan Christie. 1, because I wanted to try and bring in a big name. But 2, tactically, I wanted to bring in a player that had a bigger reputation. You see, when I'm searching for players here, I'm often searching by their world reputation. I'm hoping it opens up other players. If we bring in high rep players, it should allow our overall rep of our club to go up, which might in turn attract us players of a higher reputation afterwards. So there's a little bit of that about it, as well as the fact that he is still really good. He's not fast, but he's going to play one of our defensive mid spots and just spray the ball about. He's also our head of youth development as well as playing. So I think he's a great player in real life, by the way. I'm a big, big fan of Ryan Christie. I think he's one of the most underrated, but we don't give him enough flowers, which I suppose is what underrated means. But I'm going to say it right now. Ryan Christie, genuine baller. Let me know if you agree in the comments down below. He's going to come in and play in our midfield alongside the stalwart of our team, Christy Montgomery. Christy Montgomery, 173 games for us now. Love that. I love creating the storylines as we go along. Joe Bevan, another one of those, 174. He's got 89 goals for us as well. Hopefully he can have another season of scoring lots of goals this year. Only got 12 last year. A bit disappointing, but we're going to keep him in the team, keep Robertson in the team, keep Henderson in the team. I think I'm feeling quite good about this. Our season preview is exactly the same as last year. We are predicted to finish 15th, but I reckon we can go and get promoted here. So that's what I'm going to go and do. I'm going to play games, get us promoted, and win the lot. Possibly not win the lot, but also we did lose our first game 4-2, and we're out of the Carabao Cup already. But ignore that. We're going to win the lot. Come on. Okay, heading into January 2029. It's a familiar story, actually. It's very similar to last year. That after 26 games, we're second. We are 2 points off the top. We are joint with third. So we're in that mix for those automatic promotion spots. A really good chance of promotion then in our second season in League Two. I'm calm, I'm cool, I'm collected. Our new striker, Fraser Mackey, is scoring goals. He's got 17 in his first 26, which is really nice to see. I am already terrified that he's going to leave. I said I was fine with it. I'm absolutely not fine with it. If he goes, I'm going to be really disappointed because he's really, really good. He can play centre-back, weirdly. I've definitely not played him centre-back. I don't know why. Someone's played him at centre-back in a game at some point. I don't think it was me. I can't really rule these things out, to be completely honest with you. We're going well, though, overall. At the end of the summer, by the way, I did make one more signing. We signed Ben Wiles to come in and play anywhere we need him, basically. He is potentially a right back for us, even though as a cover for Ryan Robertson, he can also play in central midfield. He actually can't play defensive midfield, which is a bit of a shame for us, but could play left back, could play further forward. We've used him only in 6 games, so he's very much a backup, but he's quite good. He's also got a release clause of £0. I don't know why that is the case, but he might leave immediately, but he's been good backup for us anyway. A weird transfer. I think I put the wrong thing. I think I meant to put a relegation release clause in and then accidentally put a minimum fee release clause. So he might just go at any point, but hopefully he doesn't. At the moment, he seems to be fine and the window's about to open. So we'll see. We are looking like this, though, in terms of the squad. Let me pop all the columns in there so that you can see. Really great season, as I mentioned, from Fraser Mackey so far. 20 goals in 30. Joe Bevan is playing on the wing as our right winger and scoring more goals than he did last season as a striker. He's got 16 in 29. Glenn Middleton's been good too. 11 goals from our boy Ethan Henderson. Still developing, still going strong from him. Still not made his Scotland debut, though, so we keep waiting for that one. Same with Ryan Robertson. He's yet to make his debut either. Oh, Ryan Robertson was in the 18s rather than the 19s. I think I was looking in the wrong squad before, wasn't I? I'm sure somebody's already commented that, and now you can see this and say, oh, yeah, yeah, you noticed it. Johnny Emerson has also played a lot of games from the wing, 24 games from him. He's been good, continuing to shush the opposition as he goes along as well. Callum Flatman in our defence is another one who's going to tell us that he's going to leave at the end of his contract, which is at the end of this season too. So that's happening again. But overall, I think you can maybe tell I'm very, very calm and cool and collected. We started amazingly. We started brilliantly, actually. After those 2 losses in the league, or after that 1 loss and then the Carabao Cup loss, we drew to Notts County and then won every game until the middle of October, where we finished off our lovely run with a 5-1 win over Bradford before losing to Fleetwood. And then after that, after some good results, we had a horrible spell in November where we lost 3 games in a row. One of them was in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy Northern Section Group G, which I don't care about. One of them was a 6-2 loss against Salford. Salford are quite good. They are the team that are at the top of the league. Look, 2 points ahead of us. We lost 6-2 to them. Fraser Mackey scored twice, though. And then we've been a bit hit and miss, really, since then. A few losses, as well as some really nice wins. A 5-1 win against Gateshead, which is always really nice, isn't it? Overall, though, we've got a little bit of money to spend. If I maybe put a bit more into wages here, there is potential for some January business. But I'm kind of just feeling like we just continue and go from here and find out what we can achieve as we go for promotion. Again, after last year's disappointment, is this the year that we can make it stick? Can we get ourselves to League One? And yes is the answer. Come on, promoted again. We finished 2nd, which means there's no big trophy or anything like that. It's actually Woking that ended up winning the league with 99 points. Salford dropped down to 3rd. We stuck in our position, though. 2nd place, Berwick Rangers are going to be a League One team next season, which is lovely, lovely stuff. Really good form. We lost our last game, but it didn't matter because we didn't bottle it down to 4th place this year because they were way behind on 82 points. It was Newport County. Berwick Rangers, off to League One we go, and these are the results. I was calm because I felt like we had it in us this year. I feel like the squad is as settled as it has been maybe ever in this save. Some of our new gens are like scoring goals, which is just nice. Ethan Henderson finishes the season with 16 goals, which is so cool because he came through our youth intake, which is just lovely to see, isn't it? A Scottish intake player coming through, scoring goals, and maybe has potential to get better as well. 16 goals from him, lots of goals from, let me find, well, first of all, lots of goals from Joe Bevan playing right wing, 24. He's had his best season, well, his best season since 2027 when he was playing in the Vanarama National, and he's got 24 goals from the wing, 7.2 average rating. Lovely to see. That's now, I mean, what's his overall for us? I can see it on here, can't I? 218 games, 113 goals so far. Becoming a real save hero. Big, big fan of you, Joe Bevan, if you're watching. I don't know why I said that. He's certainly probably not watching, is he? I wonder if does he actually play for Berwick? No, we signed him, didn't we? Actually, where did we sign him? We signed him from Burnley. So if anyone knows anyone at Burnley, can you let Joe Bevan know that I love him? That got weird, didn't it? There's our results, though. You can see we had this horrible spell in January. Then we had a really good run up until we lost to Shrewsbury. And then 4 wins on the bounce was enough to basically secure our promotion. A loss in the last game didn't matter. Fraser Mackey, here's the main man. he got 27 goals in 42 games. I told you he would score goals. I was right. He scored lots and lots of goals. At this stage, no one's interested in buying him. And actually, it kind of helps us with his contract because this is domestic clubs in a higher division. We're going to go up to League One, which means if someone buys him, to use the release clause, it's going to have to be a championship team, which does narrow the amount of clubs that will buy him, hopefully. We may have played a blinder. Hopefully. We'll see what goes in the transfer window. I'll show you the rest of the stats on here so you can see an update on everybody else and how they went over the course of the season, and also see some of the performances from players down here. We're still fleshing out our squad with players that are on non-contracts. Paul Allen, by the way, hasn't played loads of games. He wants a new deal. I'll actually show you now because I offered him one before. He's on £800 per week, bear in mind, Paul Allen. He slipped down the pecking order. Yes, he scored a worldie, but when I offer him a new contract, he wants over £2,000 per week. So I just think it might be time to wave goodbye to Paul Allen. I think he's out of contract this summer. Let me sort it here. Ben Wiles and all the way down to Conor McLaughlin are potentially leaving the club. None of them are big starters except for Flatman, and then McLaughlin obviously is on loan. So I think we can replace them. I will see if any of them will sign a new contract. It's only Flatman that's told me he's definitely leaving. Actually, Glenn Middleton has as well, and he's actually been very useful for us this year. Played a lot of games, 32 games, 11 goals. But I think they're replaceable with our new budget, which is £20,000 to spend. Also, we've got all of this random money for Joseph Granger. I don't know who he is, but I think I might sell all of these clauses. He's a new gen that, was he poached from our youth intake? Because he's just at Blackpool. He's never played for us. But all of a sudden, we can actually sign him. All of a sudden, Blackpool owe us a whole load of money for him. Like 10 lots of 70k. If he plays 100 times for Blackpool, they pay us 7.92k. I might just sell all of these and take the 80 odd k or whatever it is, because I don't think he's ever going to play. He looks rubbish. I'm doing this. I'm taking 70 extra k. I'm doing it right now. Why not? Thank you, Joseph Hermione Granger. You're a wizard, a witch. Thank you very much. Right, magicked up some money there. I have, honestly, that might be a database thing. I have no idea what's happened there, but I will take it. Right now, though, I'm going to go and spend that money, do some transfer business as we get ready for Season 8. Weird. All right, so we're now a League One team. We've made it up through... We've actually had a promotion in today's video. It's good. It feels good after being in the National League for so long in the last video that we've actually already sort of made the same amount of progress now. This is where we stay in League One for basically forever. I'm a bit worried. I'm going to level with you right now. The step up between League 2 and League 1 has been quite drastic, and also I've been unable to get better players. I really thought that the quality of footballer that we'd be able to bring in would increase by going up through the leagues. It sort of hasn't, and the squad itself is looking a bit more like it looked a few seasons ago, where it looks a bit paper thin, and some of the players, even the ones that I'm going to have to start, it seems, aren't amazing. I'm a bit worried. Let me talk you through the process that I've gone through. A good way to put this into a bit of context is to show you the wage structure of the club now. We've got players from the top here with Joe Bevan, who is our top earner, all the way down to Ethan Henderson, who's now on £1,000 per week. So the overall wages have gone up. 2,800 is our top earner. If I go to League One and just pick, let's say, Reading at the top here, who have had financial issues themselves, they've got earnings of 13,000. And then it does kind of it does scale down quite a lot, I suppose, to 1,000 here, but they've got 13,000, 10,000, 9,000, 8,000. I obviously can't go and put a player on £13,000 per week. One, because it completely breaks our wage structure, and two, because we've only got £13,000 available in wage budget right now. So the level of player that want to come and play for us, the best players want too much money, and the other players aren't really good enough, which finds us in this position now where I wonder if we need to establish ourselves in the league, try and bring in some cheap players that become good enough, and then try and bring in one or two, maybe like marquee signings. I don't know. It's a bit tough out there right now, and I'm kind of concerned that if I show you the players that are available, players like Scott Hughes, I'd love to bring this guy in who he looks like he'd be pretty good for us. He's only 22. He's got under 21 caps as well. He is listed for loan. However, he's on £14,000 per week, and if I try and loan him, they want 11,000 a week. I can only pay up to 40%. And that's even with, I've got wage budget available, but I can only offer about, what was that, £5,000 a week? Do you sort of see the predicament I'm in? They also want money on top of that, which makes this loan cost 650k to be able to bring him in. That's like, this is the good player that I'd love to bring in. Obviously, he's maybe a slightly more extreme example, but even the best loans, but even the best other loans that I've explored to try and bring in, players like Ronan Ferns, I've tried to loan him before. He's on 3,000 a week, wants to come in. I can kind of offer his wages, which is 2,400 per week, but then they want money per week as well, which takes it to 125k. This one we could probably afford, but we're quite tight on budgets that I kind of just need to weigh all things up together to make a decision on them. I will continue to do a bit more I think I'll do a little bit more business before we begin, but let me show you through the team as we have it now with the new signings that are in there. We're going to continue with Murray Johnson in goal with Ryan Mullen as the backup. So keeper hasn't changed. Right back will still be Ryan Robertson, and then we have Ben Wiles on this naught contract that he's on at the moment as our backup right back. Centre backs, Callum Flatman's still here. He's opted to leave. He says he's going to explore his options at the end of his contract. His contract has ended, and he sort of just stayed. So for now, he's going to be playing with Murray Campbell at the back. Conor McLaughlin is back for another year. Our Scottish Englishman has signed a new contract. We've loaned him again. The left back pool of talents just wasn't really any, and I'm going to take the fact that he is Scottish. He's just half Scottish. He comes in for this season. Ryan Christie and Christy Montgomery. I mean, the star ratings maybe tell you everything about this. I'm not sure Ryan Christie's any good anymore. He really can't run. He's 35, but he might have to start the season for us unless I can bring in a player like that Scott Hughes, who looks really good. For now, though, he's going to have to play. Joe Bevan continues on the right-hand side. I've brought in this man here, Lewis McAleer, to play on the left-hand side, potentially play up front as well if we need him to. He's not great, is what I'd say. Like, physicals are rubbish. He can finish, but other than that, he's not amazing. Then I have managed to find two good strikers. James Scott, who is a 29-year-old former under-21 international. Again, he's all right. 2,300 a week. He comes in to play as a striker. He actually can play on the wing as well if we need him to. I suppose that gives us the opportunity to play Henderson if he wasn't injured. He's out at the moment with a hamstring strain. And we've also got Kieran Dunn as a striker. Now, he's much better. We've managed to loan him £180 per week. Look, very, very cheap. And we've got him until they recall him. They shouldn't recall him either because I promised him to be an advanced forward. And we actually do use advanced forward. So he should actually stay for the season. He's got a goal in one of his first two games. Paul Allen is still here on his non-contract too. And that's sort of it for the summer. However, there is one name that you may be looking for that you are now not seeing. We've sold the main man. Fraser Mackey, our striker, was sold to Dundee United for £2.6 million. Now, we did at least make over £1 million on this guy. Now, 50% of it did go to him, which is obviously very upsetting. But remember, I said I'm not going to be upset about this because it was just a loan, and I thought we were going to lose him for 100k. We lost him for 2.6 million, rising to 2.8 million. A great sale, really, to turn around and get any money from this. It's just a shame that 50% of it went to Fraser himself. You can't really begrudge him leaving to go back to play for Dundee, play in the Cinch Premiership as well. Dundee United, I should definitely say as well, before you come for me in the comments. So yeah, we've sold him. It's given us actual money. We are back in the black, 600,000, well, nearly 700,000 pounds. The most money we've had ever at this stage, which is, it is good. The projection still doesn't look good. Projected to be 7 million in debt at this stage, which is obviously terrible news, but I think the worst news is that I don't know if this squad is good enough. We were predicted to finish 15th in League 2. We're predicted to finish 23rd in League 1. We're not the worst team. That's Wickham. Wickham are 350 to 1, but we're not far away from it. We definitely don't have any players in the Dream 11. It could be a rough season. But I'm going to try and do some more transfer business, and then I guess we'll find out just how rough this season is. I'll see you in January, if not before. Okay, so I've once again mistaken my own genius, and it has not been anywhere near as terrible as I thought it was going to be. We're actually second in the league. Now, this is a slightly false second behind Rotherham because we've played 4 extra games than them. We've actually played, I suppose, 2 extra games than MK Dons, who could go above us, and 1 extra game to Sheffield Wednesday, who could also go above us. But we're right up there. We are in, let's calibrate it slightly and say that we're in the playoff places at this stage. And that, to me, is very good going with the squad that we've got. Now, I did do a little bit of extra business. It wasn't loads of business, but we did also sign Colin Steele to come in and play as either a centre-back or a left-back, mainly a centre-back, actually. Because of the situation that we had with our centre-backs with Callum Flatman, who is still here, by the way, even though he doesn't want to be at the club anymore. I brought in Colin Steele, and it has helped us. I'm also in the market for another player now, as it is the 1st of January. A free transfer signing of Dennis Herbert, who I don't know how good he's going to be, but he's on a free transfer, and he's got under 21 caps, which is kind of the thing I'm going for. So I can't scout him because we don't have any scouting budget left, but hopefully he's going to come in and be a useful player, either in defensive mid or maybe as a striker, or maybe we should change formation so that we can use him if he is really good. But I suppose we'll find out if he's good first. He has played football in League One, previously, and done quite well for Rochdale. So I'm hopeful that he could be a good little signing for us. But overall, we've been very good. I actually think we've not been as good as the table kind of makes it look like we've been. There's a lot of draws and quite a few losses in here, but I suppose having lots of draws and not lots of losses kind of tells the story. Like, look at this game. I said that Wickham are the worst team in the league. This game here sort of sums it up. A 6-1 win. We've got some good players who are effective players. They don't maybe look like the best players in terms of their profile, but Joe Bevan will always score goals for you. There's another beauty from him on his left foot. Here's Scott scoring one from the spot. He was one of our new signings in the summer too. Here's McLaughlin booting it forward. Scott, I mean, you have to be offside there, Ethan Henderson. But our youngster, I mean, I'm not sure what the linesman's done there. He definitely looked offside. Ethan Henderson, our youth intake player, scoring goals for us. Here's Joe Bevan again, just smashes in on his left foot. Like, the players might not look like they're up to much, but especially Joe Bevan and some of the others, we know that we can get a tune out of them. Christy Montgomery, been here for years and years, also scoring another lovely goal there, look. Look at the football. Look how many long shots we scored. Ethan Henderson's definitely offside for that one as well. But that's our youth intake, Ethan Henderson. We're taking him to the Prem. I'm saying it now. We're taking him to the Prem. I don't want to see Wickham's goal because that's just... We don't need to look at goals against us when we've scored 6 of our own or whatever it was. That's fine. We're in a good spot. We're in a good spot. I'm happy. I'm calm. I don't think we're going to win the league because Rotherham have only lost 3 games. But if we can sneak into the playoffs, that would be some result, wouldn't it? Based on how doom and gloom I was in the summer. So that's gonna be my aim. Let's go and play the second half of the season. See if we can do a little bit of business here. Oh, by the way, the finances. You know how much money we had before? We're now back in the red. We are leaking money. We don't make money from our stadium. We only bring in crowds of about 5,000, which is, by the way, it has been extended here. What's it called? The Sheaffield. The Shieldfield Park has been extended to 5,000. I think we may need to be thinking about a new stadium soon. I don't know how we're going to fund it, but surely that stadium's not big enough. If you look at the other crowds that we're getting or going away, there's like 10,000 away at Chesterfield, 21,000 away at Sheffield Wednesday, 16,000 away at Portsmouth, 12,000 away at Barnsley, and we're bringing in 5,000 as a maximum. I suppose it's not too bad compared to the rest of the league, but if we do get another promotion, it might be a bit of a yike. So watch what happens there with our new owners. Maybe a new stadium. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, let's go and finish this season. Let's go and see if we can get ourselves into the playoffs. Okay, so it's May, and these guys are legends. I love them. We've had a really good season. We're in the playoffs. We have finished 6th place in the league. We've actually just kind of snuck into those playoff places. We were maybe overachieving, as I sort of thought earlier on in the season, but we finished on 78 points in our first season in League One, and we have now the chance to get promoted at the very first time of asking. I'm sort of correcting all of the struggles that we had in the first video by potentially flying up the leagues here, which is really quite nice. It feels really good. However, we have the small task of beating Sheffield Wednesday, who finished 3rd, home and away. We've got a 2-legged playoff semi-final against them. I'm going to go and play those games now. But before that, I wanted to just show you the progress of this season, because I think we need to celebrate this season as a whole, even if we don't eventually go up, which I guess we'll find out in a second, won't we? To jump across to the squad here, I want to show you some of the stats as well. We've got really good performances from our players that I thought were not good enough for this league earlier on in the season. A great season from Ryan Robertson, who annoyingly is going to be injured for these playoff games here. He played 50 games. Keeper's been great as well. 50 games and over a 7 average rating. If your keeper's doing that, you're quite happy usually. Very settled team if you look at the appearances from players. Lots of appearances from Ben Wells as our backup. And also lots of appearances for Ryan Christie, who actually has usually been a starter over Paul Allen. But is currently injured, which is why Paul Allen was back in the team. Paul Allen's still here despite not having a contract as well, which is just nice. Dennis Herbert, I did sign him. He is really good. I just don't know where to play him. And I feel like playing him as a defensive midfielder is just a bit of a risk. Because he's got 5 tackling and 5 marking. So I kind of need to either invent a position for him. Maybe we go for like a 4-2-3-1 and keep it simple and play him here. If we didn't have, to go to one striker. Or figure it out for next year. He's not really played since joining in January. He's played 3 sub appearances, look. So I think he just doesn't really fit in. I also don't think he's a striker, so he's quite slow. Doesn't even have good finishing. So I think he is an attacking midfielder. He's a natural on Gonch, which is just odd. But I think he's quite good. So we should really find him a position. However, at the moment, that's not really my priority. My priority is to try and get promoted. 14 goals from Ethan Henderson. Still going strong. Our boy. Played now. How many games is that overall? It is 166 games for us. 53 goals in a career that's come through since being a new gen here. Ryan Robertson's on how many games? 231 games for this boy now. Go on, son. Love that. Joe Bevan as well. Another 8 goals. He's got 257 games for us. 121 goals too. I kind of want to keep them going. Even though I'm not sure they're good enough. Christy Montgomery is another one. 260 games for us. Is he a favourite personnel or anything yet? Nope. Our non-Scottish Scottishman is, though, in Conor McLaughlin, which is interesting. And Joe Bevan's still an icon. No, nobody else in there yet. No, we're still only favoured personnel, which is just, it's sad. But it's fine. It's not about me. It's about the players, isn't it? There's the stats, though. That's the rest of the team. I'm going to go and play these games against Sheffield Wednesday now. I'll report back on how they go. And let's go and find out if we can get ourselves promoted to the Championship. We would definitely not be ready for the Championship if we do this, but let's go give it our best shot. And oh my word, we've done it! We've actually been promoted to the Championship. We did not deserve this. I didn't do it as a live com because I just thought we were going to lose, to be honest. And I thought this video would be way too long. But we've actually done it. We've had 7 shots and scored 3 goals from 4 games. We beat Sheffield United before this. I'll show you these goals in a second. We beat Sheffield United at home 3-1. Joe Bevan and Ethan Henderson scoring twice. I love the fact we've got potential for a save, 2 save heroes here, these 2. And then also we drew the away game 1-1 to put us through. Like, this guy played for Brentford. He's really good. Like, that's what we're up against. It took us through to a playoff final at Wembley, and we did this. I mean, we didn't deserve it. We had more possession, I suppose. We went 1-0 down, in fact, as well. Boniface scored that goal. I don't know what the keeper is doing, Johnson, there. It looked like he dived the wrong way. We weren't to be perturbed, though. And then after half-time, we got ourselves back level with Ethan Henderson. That sort of went through. That's not great keeping either, is it? But we don't mind it too much. And then, this is the 76th minute, 2-1 down. What character from our boys, by the way. Vata made it 2-1 in front of our... hang on, can we just pause it? Can we have a look at their end here? Look how packed it is with all of their fans. And then if I go to here and just reverse this, these are our fans. Look how many empty seats there in our... Look how many empty seats there are in our section compared to theirs. Quite hilarious, actually. But have that, Peterborough. Have that, Kevin Chapman. I'm not sure why he's been brought into this. We then, after going 2-1 down with 15 to play, equalised from our main man, Joe Bevan. That's his specialist finish, by the way. On his left foot, smashing it into the top corner. Very Mo Salah-like. Herbert's on the pitch, the Ginger Ninja. And then McAleer, who has been, to be honest, dreadful this season, scores the winning goal on 90 minutes. A comeback for the ages. And our Berwick boys, our Scottish lads, our Scottish warriors. I got a bit carried away there, I'm sorry. Listen, we've had an entire first episode and we're probably about 45 minutes into this episode and I've not yet done a Scottish accent. So can I just say sorry? I apologise. I got carried away. Just got into the swing of things a little bit. That possibly was a hate crime and I won't do it again. I promise. I won't. Unless we win the Prem. No, I won't do that again. Come on. Let's all calm down here. But this means next year, this gang of lads, these players, which I'm not sure they were necessarily good enough for League One, they'll be playing in the Championship. And I'm going to have to get very busy in the transfer market because this could be really rough. I know that I said that before this season and we ended up getting promoted, but this could be really rough. So I'll see you as I try and build a team of just Scottish players for the English Championship. I'm scared. And also, again, I'm very sorry about that Scottish accent that came out before. Okay, welcome to the championship version of Berwick Rangers. We now sit amongst teams like Forest and Leeds and Stoke and Watford and Bolton and Birmingham. It's lovely to be involved. Ipswich are in this division. Palace have been relegated as well. So we've got it all up against us right now. I have done some transfer business and things are actually looking quite good financially for the first time. Although our season preview does say we're 500 to 1 in the league. We are big favourites to get relegated. I'm not surprised by that because, like I did mention before, I'm not sure we were even really good enough for League One. We just went on a bit of a tear with our players that are effective but don't look very good. I think that is like Joe Bevan shouldn't be as good as he is, but we know that he actually scores goals. And I'm hoping he does it again this year, although he is currently injured for 3 weeks with sprained ankle ligaments. I have done some transfer stuff, though, to try and prepare us and try and get us ready. There are a few new faces that I need to introduce you to. First of all, let's go through the team, actually. Let's do a full run through. We've got Murray Johnson in goal. He continues, although he is wanted by a few teams and has told me that he's going to leave at the end of his contract. His contract doesn't run out until 2032. He has got a release clause that is available for him now. Clubs in a higher division is 100k, but I don't think a Prem team is going to sign him. So we might be okay on this one. But it also puts his value at 100k, so we might get a lower bid because of that. Right now, though, he's still here. We'll see what happens with the rest of the window. There's about a month left of this window at this stage, so there might be a bit more business to go. Ryan Robertson is going to continue playing. That might be a mistake, but also I want to keep playing him, so he's going to play at right back. I've signed a new centre-back called Samuel Cleal Harding. He comes in from Livingston on a loan. Very cheap loan as well, £850 per week. This is the first time I think I'll go into more detail, I think, in a save like this about the finances. Our wage structure looks like this now. We've sort of accepted that we need to bring in players that are above 3,000 for the first time, really. Joe Bevan himself is up to 3,100. He was our top earner before. So I've brought in 3 more players above 3,000. If you compare this to whoever we looked at who was a League One team, they had players that were on way more than this. I think they were like, it was Reading, wasn't it? They were over 10,000. So we're still going to be very low, but also it stayed quite uniform in that most of our players are in this region between 1,000 and then the upper limit of 3,000s there. So nearly 4,000 for one of our new players, which is Jerry Miller. But I'll go through those players as well. This is a bargain that we've brought in to kind of show you. He's not amazing, but he's Scottish and he can play centre-back, and that's kind of what we need. So he comes in. Colin still continues. He's our other centre-back. Conor McLaughlin, our English Scotsman, still here, continues to play for us. Got him for this year as well. A midfield of Christy Montgomery. Should he still be playing? Probably not. 260 games for us now, though. He's never let us down. He's our captain. So we're going to keep him here. We're going to give him another year, another chance to stay in our team. With Jack Doherty coming in this year. He can play as a defender if we need him to as well. But a good tackling defensive midfielder alongside Christy Montgomery has been brought in on a free transfer. 2,100 a week for him. He has previously played in League One quite a lot for MK Dons. So he's now going to make the step up, hopefully, and play well in the Championship for us. In front of those two, Joe Bevan continues on the right. James Scott continues on the left. He's also leaving at the end of his contract, which is at the end of this season. He's 30 anyway and on £3,000 a week. So I'm kind of okay with him going. And then up front, either Dennis Herbert, but it probably won't be. It'll probably be Ethan Henderson and the new man. And I think the long-term replacement for Fraser Mackey, Lewis Hirry. Now, I've put him on £3,700 per week. We've signed him on not on a free. We've spent money on him. £300,000 splurged on a striker. Now, that in the Championship, that is still tiny, tiny amounts of money, isn't it? However, it's the most we've ever spent. And we've spent money for the first time because our budget has gone way up. We've got £1.7 million in the bank. It went to, I think that is the highest it's been, actually. I don't know if it shows us before. I feel like it would have been more before I spent this money. But we're nearly like £1.7 million in the bank here. Projection is still really bad, but not as bad as before. So £5 million in debt instead of 7. And we've spent money on Hirry for 300k. He is our record signing. I think it's actually confirmed. Can I check that? He is indeed our record ever signing, record highest transfer fee paid ever. And I actually think he's going to do the business. He looks like, look how good he is. I think this guy's good, like really good physicals, and then also has good dribbling, finishing, first touch. Decent composure, really good off the ball, decent technique and work rate as well. Can't really pass, but if we just play him as an advanced forward, why can he play right back and left back? By the way, what's going on? I think this guy scores goals. I think this guy scores goals even in the Championship. He's got under 21 caps as well. I still don't think we've got anyone who's played for Scotland whilst playing for us. We've had some former Scottish internationals, but I don't think anyone's played for Scotland whilst being our player, which is sort of the dream. Ethan Henderson, still only capped at under 19s level. I think he could do it. You know, look at his value now, 1.3 mil to 4.8 million. Maybe there's a real player in here. Still not. I mean, 15 finishing's good, 17 heading. He can't jump, so it doesn't matter about the heading. But okay, I wish his pace was a bit faster. He's still only 20. He does have lovely hair as well, which we always need to mention. Overall, though, even with these signings in, we are predicted to finish very much bottom. So we're going to find out how it goes. But I'm kind of feeling good about this. We've got a new scout joining as well. Oh, by the way, I need to show you. We actually have staff now. We've got 7 coaches. We've actually got some of the best goalkeeper coaching in the entire division. Like, you never sing that, will you? We're not the best for other. I mean, we might even be the worst. We're not the worst. We're not the worst in coaching. We're not even the worst at... Who is the worst? Coventry. We're not even the worst at scouting. We've got 3 scouts, 1 chief scout. They're not great, but we actually have staff in now. 1 physio who must be very busy. And I can't really ask for more. I could ask for more, I suppose. Also, another thing that I don't think I've mentioned so far. I have been constantly asking for new coaching badges for my manager. And we've finally been allowed to get our Continental C. We're studying for it right now. So fingers crossed that that can continue. Now that we've actually got money, I might be able to do these things. I could actually, I suppose, also ask for things like youth intake, youth recruitment stuff, because I know that I've not mentioned this much in today's video. We have been getting youth intakes. I've been moving them. I've also given us an ask for and given us an under 21s team now. We've got 1 player that came through the youth intake of note, Aaron Kerrigan, who might be a backup goalkeeper in the future, but probably not because he's not very good. As we've gone up the league and our youth facilities have certainly not improved, we've got 4 grey stars for youth recruitment and 1.5 stars for youth facilities. We've never had the money to improve them. And then because we've got better, our youth intake players have just been progressively worse. And certainly not ones that we can bring into the team and actually develop like we've managed to do with Robertson and like we've done with Ethan Henderson before. So youth-wise, maybe eventually when we get to the Prem, we can improve these things. I might ask for it now, actually. Shall I ask for an improved youth recruitment? They probably say no. I have been asking for it. I've been constantly asking throughout the save, but because we've had no money, they've always said no. But now they've got money. Maybe now they should say yeah. The other big news is that facilities-wise, I talked about our stadium not being big enough. There is proposed plans for a new 11,000-seater stadium. At the moment, they are still searching for a site for it, so we don't have a completion date on it. But it does look like they are going to build us a new stadium. I don't know what this is going to do to our finances. I don't know what type of effect this is going to be, but it usually costs like 10 million. And we've never had that type of money. So usually it works its way out somehow. And maybe we need to make it work by getting ourselves to the Prem. But with us being 500 to 1 odds, I think we just need to try and stay in the Championship for now. And that is very much my aim for this year. With this team, with these lovely Scots, I'm going to go and try and do a miracle and stay in the league, which is also, by the way, our board objective. We need to attempt to avoid relegation, which also, I suppose, covers us if we do get relegated. We might be able to keep our job. So that would be nice, wouldn't it? Let's go and try and do that miracle. Come on. Okay, I'm back early. It's not quite January yet, and that's kind of the flow that I've got into to bring you updates every January. It's only September, so we've done about a month and a half, 2 months. We've basically done 2 months because we did start at the start of August, didn't we? This is going to be really rough. Look at the first month that we had. We got pinged 5-1 on the opening day at home to Wimbledon. Wimbledon got themselves promoted, I think, at the same time as us, right? They got promoted the season before. So they went up from League One and then they managed to stay in the Championship last season. Lovely, weird image as well for their cherry red record stadium. By the way, this stadium is also, it's awesome, but so weird if you've ever been to it. It's like blocked right in by flats and buildings all around it. It's very surreal when you go to it, but that is definitely that is very much a sidetrack conversation and one for another day perhaps. They pinged us 5-1. Then we lost in the Carabao Cup. Then we lost 5-0 to Hull. We conceded 10 goals in our first 2 games. So naturally, I panicked and switched up the tactic. It took a while for it to work, but we did get a result against Rotherham to win 2-1, even though we were down to 10 men. And we beat Blackpool, we've beaten Bolton, and we've gone unbeaten in our last 2 games. The change that I made was to go to this, and it's to go slightly more cautious, something that I really don't like doing in Football Manager. Even when you are up against it, I usually just attack. It's very similar to our first tactic, but just a lot more defense. We've got a ball-winning midfielder in there. We've got very much fullbacks. We are on a cautious mentality instead with a defensive midfielder and a ball winner. I just felt like we needed to we're conceding 10 goals in our first 2 games. In fact, 13 goals in our first, if it gets worse, 17 goals conceded in our first 4 games. I was going to get the sack unless we switched it up. So I did change it, and it has made us more secure. We've only conceded, we conceded 4 against Stoke here. But in the games before that, conceded clean sheet, conceded 1, conceded 2. So it has shored us up a little bit. I did go and try and sign some more signings as well, but wasn't able to. I actually don't think I even updated you on the other players that I did bring in. We brought in, I think we went straight away and we got carried away and got straight into the season, didn't we? This was our business from the start of the season. We have Cleo Harding back for another year. I signed Aidan Fitzpatrick on a free as a winger option. He's quite good. Jerry Miller on a loan. He is the one that you saw was on the biggest wages, but we are loaning him. We are paying all of those wages though, so he is expensive. Alex Grant on a free. He's a backup defensive midfielder and happy to be a backup. Liam Layfield is a backup player as well for us, as is not Jack Doherty. He's on a free. I showed you him before. Lewis Peary, I showed you before. And then Jake Davison. He was the other one that is a backup right back for Ryan Robertson. I think I showed you the squad, but didn't actually show you the players. We also sold Murray Campbell, the centre back. I don't think he's that good, but we sold him for 425k, rising to 525k. So we got good money for him as well. I don't think there was any other business other than Callum Flatman leaving. No, that was it. Okay, so now you're up to date. Now you can see how much we're struggling. Now you can see how I've slightly tweaked things, because I know that a lot of you will be shouting at me, saying things like, change the tactics if things go wrong. I have tried it. I have also actually been experimenting with the 4-2-3-1 a little bit, but not as much. For the home games, I'm thinking maybe use this. It does give Dennis Herbert the chance, but I've not used this yet, but I've been thinking about it. So something I might do. But for now, we're going with this cautious 4-2-4 because I don't want to change the shape too much because the players I've bought are to fit this shape. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I wanted to come back now to show you that maybe there's some slight shoots of green, but otherwise we are in the mire. I didn't actually even show you. We're 20th in the league after 11 games. We played an extra game. We could be in the relegation zone if any of these teams win their game in hand. It is rough, but it is good fun. I'm going to go to Jan now and see if we can continue to turn this around. Come on. Okay, welcome to the end of December, where I am delighted to say, and a little bit surprised to say, we have very much turned it around. You joined us. We were talking about it before after these games here. We continued with the slightly more cautious approach. And then even with the cautious approach, I lost 4 on the bounce. And I decided, screw this. Let's go and try and attack again. And it worked. It was a risk and it really shouldn't have worked. But we played Ipswich at home. We went back to the 4-2-4 attacking in this game and won 6-0. Pirri scored 4 goals. This guy, I said he'd score goals. It took a while, but he's now got 13 and 27. It has worked. We've turned it around with some great results. We're now 12th in the league. It's quite the turnaround. 38 points. I mean, we're not going to get playoffs, I don't think. I mean, there is a slight chance. Like, should we rule it out? We're only 8 points off the playoffs at this stage. I don't think we're going to get playoffs, but we should at least be safe in the championship. And that was a slight scare after these results here. We've had an amazing December, really. Of all of the games, we only lost 1, only conceded these 4 goals here, but only conceded 1 in this game, 1 in this game, and then the rest were clean sheets. Sometimes things just click, don't they? And it has just clicked. Back to this 4-2-4 like this, and it's quite nice to see. As I mentioned, 14 goals from Lewis Peary, and then that's sort of it for our goal scoring. 7 goals from Joe Bevan on the right-hand side. What a man, by the way. I'm going to keep saying it. 268 goals, 128 games. Another season where he should get a decent chunk of goals. Only 8 last year, but he's going to beat that this year, I think. He's been better than he was last year. Now playing in the championship. I don't think he's championship standard, but he sort of is because he scores goals on his left foot cutting in. So long may it continue from Joe Bevan. Little update from me. We're back in it. We do have the chance to spend some money if we want to in the January window. Our finances are in the mud again. We are back in the red, but we do have £340,000 to spend if we want to. I'm going to go and do the January window. If there is any major movements, I will let you know. If there's not, we'll probably see you at the end of the season where I imagine we'll just be in a safe championship position, hopefully. Oh, another thing, by the way, I did manage to put a 50% sell-on fee clause in Fraser Mackey's sale. He went for that 2.8 million or whatever it was. 2.6 rising to 2.8. He has played and scored lots of goals for Dundee United. I did put a 50% future sale in for him. It gives us 128k now. I'm sort of hoping they sell him because his value is all right. If they sold him for 2 million, we get an extra £1 million there. So I'm going to hold on to the fee for now, but it's quite nice. You can see that I am doing this with future fees and things to try and protect our future a little bit like this. So you can see that there's more money to be made on Murray Campbell as well if they meet all of these things too. Just to update you. Let's go to either to the end of January if there's major transfers. Otherwise, I'll see you at the end of the season. Things are looking much better. Okay, so there is actually an update that I need to bring you at the end of the window. It's the 3rd of Feb, so the window's just closed, and I sold a player on deadline day for over £1 million. Colin Steele was bought by Bolton. He was our starting centre-back. He's good. He's 23. He's an under-21 international, or was an under-21 international. But we got £1.4 million for him, and can't really say no to that type of money. I've replaced him, and this is why I wanted to show you this, because I'm actually very impressed with my transfer acumen right now. We have brought in Kerr Smith for 6.5k to replace him, and I think he's comparable. He's maybe not quite as good, but for also a former under-21 international, for £6,500, I think we've got a really good player. 1.7k wage as well. He's very cheap. Was available to buy from Motherwell. Fine, thanks. And 6.5k. I think it's a bargain. I'm very happy with the business that I've done. Also turning around profits to try and keep us financially sustainable, which has been such a big part of this save, isn't it? If we can stay in the league and keep selling players for money, eventually we'll be able to bring in players that are good enough to try and propel us into that Premier League, which has to be the aim. I think I'm still going to go with it. You know, there's a few comments asking, what is the aim of this? Because it's going to be hard. I think we have to try and win the league, maybe even the Champions League, because I'm loving it. And if we can get through all of this struggle to actually get to the very top with our Scottish boys, it'd be pretty glorious, wouldn't it? So I'm going to continue. I also brought in Bailey Rice for 25.5k. Very cheap signing for another really good footballer. He's going to be able to come in and play in these defensive midfield spots and make us better. Like, really good mentals and technicals on him. Great first touch for that, lads. So he's going to come in and play too. He hasn't played any games yet because he signed yesterday. We're doing all right. We had an okay January. We went out of the FA Cup to West Brom. We then won 2 games and drew a game and lost a game. We are just fresh off the back of losing 4-1 to Rotherham, courtesy of a hat-trick from Kieran Dunn, who used to play for us. He was at us for a short amount of time, 22 games and 11 goals in League One before he was recalled. I think he got recalled in the January of that season. And yeah, from there, we now he's scoring hat-tricks against us, which is slightly upsetting, isn't it? But I'm going to continue from here. From 12th now in the league, we will now go to the end of the season. We should be comfortably a championship team next year. 8 points still, the gap. Let's not rule it out. Let's go to like April, May and find out. Oh, by the way, before we go, I can actually show you, because of the timing now, we have our intake preview. This gives you the context of what I'm working with. Just no good players come through anymore. And I did ask to improve the youth recruitment. They said no. You saw me ask. They've said no, which is just nice. I can probably ask again actually now. Can I ask again? I'll ask again. Let's go see. Let's go now and let's finish this season. All right, so it's gone exactly how I sort of thought it would do, to be honest. We've stayed pretty much in the same position between the start of February now as we head into May. We finished in our first season in the Championship a very respectable 14th. It is 60 points on the board, 18 wins, 22 losses, so more losses than wins, 6 draws in there. I don't know why my teams always do this. We just don't draw games. We either win by loads, like there's some really big victories in here, 3-0 at the end there. Okay, there's not as many big victories as I thought there was. 3-0 win, 2-0 win. We had some big losses though. There is a 5-2 loss, a 4-3, 4-1, 2 4-3 losses in there, which is a bit of a shame. Defensively a little bit open with a negative 17 goal difference. But I'm okay with that. We have finished. We will be in the Championship next year. And when we get our budgets for next year, I'm hoping that there might be a little bit that will help us to improve on this team. We also don't look like we've got too many issues with players leaving. It's just Murray Johnson who says he's going to go at the end of his contract, which is this summer, as well as a few more expiring. But I'm feeling like I can probably talk around a few of these. And some of them, I think I'm okay with going anyway. What I tend to do is see if I can get a player that can replace them and then allow them to leave. And then if there's no one to replace them, I work really hard to try and get them on a new contract. Some of them have told me they want to go. For example, Johnny Emerson's definitely going to go now. He's going to go and shush people elsewhere after this point. Murray Johnson, the keeper, has told me he's going to leave, which will be a shame because he's really, really good. Christy Montgomery, he's one that I want to try and sign again because he's been here for now 300 games. 303 games. What a legend. Christy Montgomery. However, he's on 2,500 and he wants way more in wages, which I just don't want to give him because I'm not sure he's that good. Oh, by the way, I think I can show you now. Salary per annum for our team detailed. We were very much bottom. We've got a salary of 2.39 million. The 23rd rated team for salary is Rotherham with 8 million. The team at the top are paying Forest £54 million per year in wages. We are spending 2. That's what we're up against. So to stay in this division right now, absolutely fine with it. So our wages are really low at the moment. And the issue is actually there's not really many players that look good that are interested in coming either, or they want way too much that I can't even offer them. So even though we've got wage budget available right now of 20k, I can still only offer wages of about 8,000, which I do also want to kind of trying to avoid if possible. But I'll work on all of that ready for next season. It will be our 10th season at the club. We're now a championship team. It's been slow and steady progress, but I think we're telling a really fun, genuine story here. And long may it continue. So let's head into season 10. Head into season 10, by the way, with this news, where the stadium is going ahead. They are building the Berwick Rangers Stadium, the worst name possible, but maybe I could rename it. There is a way. Maybe, in fact, just had a thought. You guys could help me to name the stadium by leaving me a comment down below. Just make sure you put stadium name should be and let me know. Maybe it could be based on one of our players, like the Bevan Bowl or something like that. If there's a really good one that stands out, maybe we'll go with that. Maybe the Henderson something, because he's been here from the start. He's now got 205 games, by the way. Actually, at the end of today's video, I will go through the best 11 to show you all of the history of the save so far. I know a lot of you asked for that in the comments down below. But yeah, we are going to pay 15 million. I don't know where the 15 million is going to come from. I imagine we are going to be, we're going to be paying a lot of installments each month to pay for this based on the loan. Does it actually tell us about the loan? Yeah, I think this bank loan of £23 million in debt. We've also got a small amount of transfer debt, but that's not too bad. Actually, I think that will get paid fairly soon as well. That's for the signings of, like, Piri, I think. I think that must be it, because I don't think I did any more. He's the only one I've actually signed for real money, right? Yeah, so I think that 250 must be just based on that signing. Either way, let's go and do some summer business and try and build on this 14th place finish for our 10th season. I'm feeling good. Come on. All right, then, season number 10. We've gone 10 seasons into this journey now. I actually think we're about right where we should be. Championship in 10 seasons from where we were with only signing Scottish players. Actually, maybe we're not. So I felt a little bit like we were behind schedule, but I think we're maybe exactly on schedule. I think that quite quick jump between League One and the Championship has put us back on course. Now, if we can build on, was it 14th last season in season 10, maybe push for the playoffs this year, I reckon the next 5 seasons we can go win the league, the Premier League, that is. That might still be ambitious, but sort of here for it. I'm very keen to get into it either way. Now we start here on this screen because before the season takeover, I did do 2 pieces of business. They were, first of all, Samuel Cleel Harding. We loaned him last year. He then went back from his loan and now I've signed him on a free. So he's back again for this season, this time on a free transfer. He's actually ours. He looks like a combination of the following: Basil Fawlty, Dick Dastardly, McLovin, and Connor Cody. Now tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Again, these videos, why are they such long form? Why do you do such long videos? Because we get sidetracked into things like that. Samuel Cleel Harding looks like a combination of those 4 people. They're not even people. One of them's a cartoon character. Anyway, we are definitely digressing. We signed him on a free. We also sold Lewis McClear, not even always a starter, for 350k. So we've made a nice bit of extra money on him. He was one who had that good finishing, but sort of not great everywhere else. He played 68 times and we sold him for a very nice profit after 2 seasons of... He played a lot of games, mostly as a sub look. Only started 4 games the season before, so never a starter really, and a nice little profit on him. It has helped our overall balance, which is now at £6 million. being in the Championship, you actually get decent prize money. It's good. When we get to the Prem, we're going to be flying. I don't know if it means we'll actually be able to sign good players or not, but oh my word, our projection says we're going to be in 12 million of debt. That's probably to do with our bank loan and things for the stadium though, right? More than anything else. But hopefully, either way, I used some of that money because we got a very healthy transfer budget. We've got £1 million to spend if we want to, by the way. I can't because no players are worth £1 million. But we have got a very healthy transfer budget. Also, that I have spent a fair bit of. I've spent £850,000. We have got a new record transfer record signing by the name of Steve Burns. He celebrates Burns Night. I don't actually know what Burns Night even is. I know it's Scottish, right? Steve Burns has joined. He is our first Scottish international. Although I don't think he's played for Scotland whilst being at us. So I think he will, though, hopefully. Is he in the Scotland team right now? He's got to be close. Steve Burns. Is he a Scotland? No, he's not. That's a shame. He might play for Scotland when he plays for us. Julian Lopetegui is the Scotland manager. Sorry, I love Football Manager, man. I love Football Manager. Why is Lopetegui the Scotland manager? Either way, let's continue. He is in for a very nice sum of £400,000, rising to 525. I've also spent £205,000 on Aidan McGinley, who's going to play on either as our left winger. Could actually play as a left back if we need him to as well. We do need a left back because we have seen the exit of our English Scotsman Conor McLaughlin, who is no longer here. We actually, I think now, very much fully Scottish again. He was sort of, he was ruining it a little bit, wasn't he? But he's gone and Aidan McGinley is in. I've also signed the following. Oliver Storrier is actually a left back. He's probably going to be our starting left back. Quite cheap wages for him. He's going to play in our defence. New goalkeeper called Adam Farquhar. He's not as good as our old keeper, who has actually left now. He is this man here. Murray Johnson has gone to Ipswich on a free. They've put him on nearly £20,000 per week, which is what he wanted for me to extend his contract here. So I said no to doing that, even though I think he's quite good. Like, look at that value on him now. Instead, we're going to have Lord Farquaad, Adam Farquhar, in our goal. And then finally, last couple of signings, Kieran Slicker is in as our backup goalkeeper. He is, I think at the moment, he's one of Ipswich's backup goalkeepers, IRL. And he's happy to be our backup look on £2,000 a week. So he comes in. Then finally, do you remember this guy? Scott Hughes. I showed him, I think kind of randomly, to show you the level of player that we might want to try and bring in. Nowadays, we are able to bring them in. He is in on loan from Burnley. He's on £9,000 per week. We are paying £9,000 a week and a monthly fee because I have decided we need to start bringing in players of genuine quality. And I think he is one of genuine quality, especially as we play with a defensive midfielder and he's natural playing there. I think he looks really good. Hopefully it makes a difference for us. He's another Scottish international. Is he in that Lopetegui team? I didn't see him in there before, but I can't remember now. No, Billy Gilmore and Gregor Connolly. Is he on the bench? No, he's not. I actually looked at this guy as well, Alan Hughes. He's one I looked at to try and maybe bring in. I didn't realise he was in the full Scottish team. That he could be. I think maybe looked at him when he was a bit younger. Either way, we are, again, digressing. Those are the signings. This is the 11. I'm going to go back to the 4-2-4. I know that we had problems last year with it, but towards the end of the season, it was working again. So I'm going to go for it. Back to the attacking ways. I might panic and go back to a 4-2-3-1 or the cautious 4-2-4 that we had before. But for now, I think this is what we're going to go with. Ryan Robertson, still our new gen right back. We're going to have the new defence, Kerr Smith. He came in January for the outgoing Colin Steele, if you remember. And then into the midfield, Scott Hughes is new. Bailey Rice also came in that February. Joe Bevan on the right, McGinley on the left, Burns and Pirri as our strikers. Pirri remains, he's still here from last season. And then if we need to up front, we have the option to use Ethan Henderson, our main man, our new gen striker. 205 games for him now. I'm feeling good. We are still very much predicted to not do great this year. Season preview has us still at 500-1. But we were 500-1 last year and we finished 14th. So let's try and finish top half. Let's go for it. Come on. Okay, welcome to January, or actually, to be precise, welcome to the end of December, and it's not going very well. We're worse than last year. I don't know why this is. Do I need to switch it again? I mean, I have in some of these games switched it up, but I wasn't expecting to be this bad. We started all right as well. We won the first game 3-0. Like, this was what I was expecting for the season. domination look away at Reading. Goals from Kerr Smith, our new centre-back, relatively new centre-back. And then Joe Bevan scoring his classic goal. I'll show you the goals here. It was a corner. Smith with the header from there. Set piece is still doing it. He does a little chicken celebration there. And then Bevan with a tap-in. I was going to say his signature goal. It wasn't in this one. It was a tap-in on the line. And then we even went 3-0 up. New striker. That can we just actually just highlight how horrible this defending is from Reading? Like, how can you leave the main striker, our record signing, unmarked there? You've got 2 men on the goal line. Like, one of the defenders decided to stand in the goalkeeper there. Absolutely horrendous. Maybe that's why we won that game and didn't win other games. Went out of the Carabao Cup to Swindon, those bloody Swindon lot, and then sort of struggled since. Like, we won a game 5-1 against Forest as well, and Forest have the biggest wages in the entire league, or at least did last year. We've won 7 games out of 26, lost 11. We've got a negative goal difference. We're in a little bit of relegation trouble, to be completely honest. We're 5 points clear, so we should be okay. However, this needs a change, and possibly to go back to, in fact, I have already, look, we might need to go back to the we are rubbish approach, where we go a bit more defensive and try and hold it down a little bit. There's the stats of the players, by the way. Lewis Pirrie is unhappy because he wants to start, but he's been rubbish when he's played. So Ethan Henderson's been playing, but I might give Lewis Pirrie a go. He should be better than he's been, but when he's played, he's not been very good. Yeah, we could do some transfer business, I suppose. That might save us. It is January now. I think I might go and have a look. I'll come back if we've done anything. And if we haven't, I'll see you at the end of the season. It might just have to be a case of trying to survive, which isn't the end of the world, but it's frustrating. Right, come on. Okay, so it is the end of Jan, and I've decided to spend. I've decided the predicament was looking ever increasingly bad, so I've spent a lot of money. We have got what could be our new record signing if the installments aren't fully paid for Steve Burns, in which case he'd be the record signing. But we've spent £500,000 on this man, Alfie White. He comes in to make our midfield, I think, a lot better. Another one who is, or has been, in the Scotland team. Again, I'm going back to Julian Lopetegui's senior squad here to just check if he's in there. I don't think he is. He's not, but he's been in there. He's been around, maybe in the under-21s. I think he's too old for that now as well. Nevertheless, a quality footballer. Look at the first touch, the technique, good physicals, really good decisions, good passing, and good vision as well for this division. I think he's going to make a difference. Hopefully makes us better. He's on $5,500 a week. One of our top earners. Alongside, I'm actually very happy with this, we have signed permanently Scotty Hughes. He was on loan, and then I decided, actually, he's available for 200k. We can afford to do that. Let's make him a permanent member of the squad. He's been quite good as well in his first games. I know that we've not been so good, but I've been impressed with him. 3 assists in a rubbish team, I think you have to kind of say. We've got him permanently on 7,500. I'll show you the wages again, because I think it is interesting to show you this. Those 2 are our 2 high earners now. But even saying all of that, compare that to the rest of the league. Our top earners on, what, 7,500. Compare that to the top of the rest of the league. We are still very much bottom of the wage table. 3 million spent for us. Middlesbrough spending 73 million pounds. By the way, I don't think I ever mentioned it. They were our affiliate briefly. Then they went to League One, got relegated, look, to League One. That meant that the affiliation was cancelled. And then since then, they've got promoted. And now they're doing really well and are about to get promoted to the Premier League. They've got Morgan Rogers and Pablo Torre and Cade Gordon playing, look, and Ronnie Stutter up front. They're a really good team. I just don't know why they were in League One for a little bit. Either way, not that it really matters, because we just need to concentrate on staying in this division, which we've made a bit of progress with. We've gone through in the FA Cup. We've won a game. I was going to say we've made progress. We've won 1 game in January. It was against Watford 4-3. We've then drawn a game to Sheffield United. It looks better because there's also a win in the FA Cup 4th round. We're in the FA Cup 5th round, by the way, and we've got Norwich. If we can get through them, there's a really good chance we get a good team and maybe get the most money we've ever got from the FA Cup this year, that is nice. Our balance has shot down to 500k as well because of those signings, and because as the season goes on, it started at 6 mil. I'll show you on here. Started at 6 mil, and then just sort of every month it goes down loads. Whilst we're not really getting anything from our stadium. We're selling out every single game, but we only hold 5,300 fans. So yeah, we're going to have to wait. We have got a date, by the way. for the new stadium. Our new stadium, we move in June of next year. So at the end of next season, we move to the Berwick Rangers Stadium. Again, give me your names. What should we call our stadium? I'm wondering if it should be named after, say, Joe Bevan or Ethan Henderson or Ryan Robertson, or maybe let's go left field with somebody else. I don't know. Let me know. Let's now go to the end of the season. It might be a little bit of a damp squib, to be honest, but as long as we stay in the league, that means we'll be safely a championship team. It's a springboard to build on, isn't it? Let's go and find out where we end up. Okay, get your damp squibs out. Yeah, what does that even mean? I'm not even sure. We finished 15th. We finished 14th last year. We finished 15th this year. So no real progress. But after the start that we made to this season, I'm again sort of okay with it. We are a championship team with a few championship quality players now. And if we can build on that and bring in a few more, I think we can push towards playoffs, which I think at this stage is going to have to be in the next video. I think we'll leave this one here with us being in the championship. I will, though, before we finish up, I'll just show you the rest of those results there. There's not loads. We did win 8-3 against Reading. Reading are terrible. I showed you their horrible defending. I'm going to show you the goals for this one as well, because I think it's worthwhile to show you how bad Reading are. They are bad. We won 8-3 in this game. But yeah, over the course of our 10 seasons, to rise up from the Vanarama National League North up to the championship, I think we're going to have to go and have a part 3 to this, what is becoming a series now. And I think that's okay. I think that's a good way of doing this. Let me know what you think. I'm definitely going to continue doing the long form videos, but doing them over multiple videos as well, and really being able to get to the nitty gritty of a save, I think also kind of makes sense to me. So I think we're going to go and do that. And thank you very much for watching today. I'm showing you these goals. To be honest, I'm going to cut those goals now. We are going to go and have a quick look before we finish at our best 11 over the entirety of the save. You can have a look at some of these numbers because I love them. Christie, well, let's start with Ryan Robertson, 296 games, brought in as a new gen player and has played every game basically since, which I just love that. Similar story for Ethan Henderson, 74 goals for him. The big star though, 318 games, 147 goals from Joe Bevan. He shouldn't be scoring as many goals as he does. Even this season, he got 21. Like, he's not good, but he's staying forever. He's got 2 years left on his contract. I will keep him. He will play in the Premier League. He has to. Johnny Emerson, he was a big hero as well, wasn't he? Christie Montgomery, 339 games for him. He has played the most appearances. Again, another one. We will keep him around. Even if he has to become a backup player, we'll keep him around. Even though this year he's played every game again. He just plays every game every year. That's the type of player he is. That, though, is the history. I wanted to show you that because a lot of you want to see. There you go. I'll leave it on the screen for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know your names for the stadium. Please like the video. It really does help. And also, if you've got to the end, you can just say big up Joe Bevan or something like that. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Come on.